All right, so again, you're going to need your tape, something to mark with. Now I'm using a felt marker just so you guys can see what I mark. You guys are going to use a very, very sharp pencil, right? We want to make our cuts as perfect as possible. And then you guys are going to need your speed square. Again, your common rafters are down here, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. This is an 8. What I'm doing is I'm going an 8 and 12 roof. So I'm going to use this number 8 to mark my rafter. This is my 5-foot piece of 2x4, and this is what you guys will be using also. So let's get started. We've kind of discussed this in class, so let's do it in real life. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my speed square just like this and hold it at the edge of the board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot it, holding it tight on the top, but I'm going to rotate it until I see that 8 on the edge of this board. And I'm going to mark this. That is your plumb cut at your ridge. Okay. Now everybody's going to have a different pitch. Again, I'm going 8 and 12. So my first number is going to be 7 1/4. That's from the theoretical point at the ridge to our edge of wall, right? My second number is going to be 4'6" 1/16. This is my overhang. This is the part that extends out past our wall, right? So here we are right here. I have this mark, that mark, wall, overhang. Again, what you guys are going to do is you're going to take your speed squares and I'm going to put it on the mark. I'll rotate it, keep it on the mark it again, 8 and 12. One more time. Here's my mark. I'm going to rotate it till I see that 8. Boom. Now remember, this is the top of your rafter. This is going to be where it attaches to the wall. This is your overhang. Now, what we talked about in class was the HAP, H-A-P. That means height above plate. Remember, if we don't have a height above plate, basically your rafter would die out at the wall. So what we're doing is we're elevating it to have some kind of overhang. This gives you a chance to go overhang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark down 2.5 inches. What you cannot do is cut more than 2/3 of your board, whatever you're using, whether it's 2x4, 2x6, whatever, right? You have to figure out what your 2/3 is. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to square it off of this, off that first line. Hold it nice and square. This is going to be your bird's mouth. You're cutting this out, that little section. That's where it sits on top of the wall, right? Do a good job. Make those cuts nice and clean. The last thing that we have to do, measurement-wise, is we have to shorten this board where it meets the ridge. Because remember, our theoretical point is to the center of the ridge. That's the center of our ridge is going to be a 2x6. What we have to do is we have to subtract 3/4 because 1/2 inch is 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure squarely right here, right there, mark 3/4. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing all over again. Now this one here, you might have to hold your square and kind of hold it on your whatever your pitch is. Mine's 8 and 12. I'll kind of hold it where it needs to go and then just slide it back and forth. That's going to be our cut. So we're going to cut this one right here, right? Do a good job. Cut this out here and then cut this one here also. Now, you guys are going to lay out your rafters. Before you guys cut, let me take a look at it. Make sure your measurements are right because everybody has different pitches. And then after you cut it, let me double check it and make sure it's right, because what you're going to do is you're going to use this. You can write pattern on this thing, and this is going to be the pattern to cut the remaining rafters for your project. All right? So let's all head on out there.